This video was made for March Caprice 2022 in celebration of Kingdom Hearts' 20th anniversary. If you're watching this, I expect you're already familiar with the series, but if you aren't, be warned this video is filled with spoilers. Thank you to the March Caprice team for hosting the event, and thank you for watching. Often in online discussion, a work of art's themes are summed up to single-word concepts: loss, sacrifice, identity. But a theme can be much more than that. A theme can be a message. A theme can be what a piece has to say about the world you live in. So Kingdom Hearts, right? Disney, those other guys, light, darkness, keyblades. When people see this series from the outside, known for its complicated plot and world filled with strange rules, they get bogged down in all of the nebulous concepts like hearts and nobodies, and they fail to see the depth hidden just below the surface and the narrative that just might have something to say. When the themes of Kingdom Hearts are discussed, they're typically boiled down to just single-word concepts, and the most common of these is by far friendship. But if we look deeper beyond just that base concept, what is the series actually trying to say about friendship?
I don't need a weapon. My friends are my power.
This is easily the first thing that comes to mind when I ask this question, and this statement is the most direct the series has been in telling the player a clear message that friends can be a source of strength. Something very special about video games as an interactive medium is that thematic ideas aren't just confined to the story, but can be told through the gameplay as well. So, when you cheese a boss with a summon, a limit, or a Disney ride, that's you actually playing out the idea of drawing upon your friends for strength. You, as the player, choose to do the action, and get to see Sora and his bonds with his friends in turn. It's a great use of the game's design to help communicate an idea. When someone says friendship is a theme of Kingdom Hearts, this is likely what they mean, and while it may just be another example of the very common power of friendship trope, it's far from the only thing it says on the subject.
Come on, Sora. You've got to pull it together.
Riku's main character arc has been his struggle with darkness. Ansem completely took him over in KH1, but with Sora's help, he's able to fight back and resist his controller and, after Sora defeats Ansem, breaks free. Chain of Memories shows Riku's continued struggle with Ansem and how close he is to succumbing to darkness. However, it also shows how King Mickey helps him. Mickey, who has befriended Riku, guides him down another path, his road to dawn. Riku's struggle is the series conveying how friends can help someone overcome their struggles and grow as a person. Riku does eventually give in to Ansem when fighting Roxas. He was doing everything he could to try and help Sora, and went to such a length as to give in because he thought it would save his friend. But in KH2, he's able to overcome his darkness once again, with his friends by his side, and is better for it. By Dream Drop Distance, Riku has come so far that he's able to return the favor and help Sora. Sora was almost lost to the organization, and it's only thanks to Riku that he made it out intact. Riku's grown so far as to be able to help his friends in their struggles just as they once did for him. The series does a lot to convey the positives of friendship, but what if someone had no friends? What if someone disregarded others and instead only focused on themselves? The series' villains do a great job at showcasing what lack of friendship does to someone. From young Xehanort alone on his island, to old Xehanort trying to make all of his allies into versions of himself. The series portrays a lack of friendship as corrupting a person and driving them to the darkness. I, for one, have no dark powers and am very disappointed. This idea is capped off in KH3 with Xehanort's one remaining friend, Ericus, helping him back to the light as they pass on. This shows how even just one friend can help redeem us from a dark path.
I am me! Nobody else!
Roxas is a great case study of how friends help us form our identity. When Roxas first comes into being, he is quite literally nobody. No emotions, no thoughts, and no self-image. A complete tabula rasa, and the same thing goes for other nobodies. As he goes about his days in the organization, he learns how to act from Axel. He learns what his job is, he learns how to wind down after the day, and most importantly, he learns what friends are. When Axel tells him about friends and that they eat ice cream together, that's when Roxas begins to form his self-concept. Roxas defines himself as Axel and Shion's friend, who meets at the clock tower after work and eats ice cream with them. That's why he does it every day and why he's so worried when that routine is broken, like when Axel went to Castle Oblivion or when Shion left. Looking back, we now know that nobodies can form hearts through friendship. I believe that this is how that happens, that in this case the heart represents someone's concept of self, and a heart is grown when that concept is formed through our connections with others. When Roxas says,
Shion, who else will I have ice cream with?
It's important to note that he uses I. He's talking about himself. He only knows who he is because he eats ice cream with his friends. It's almost sad how important something so simple to him is, but the series communicates it beautifully. This is shown with Roxas again in KH2. As strange things begin to happen around him and his digital world begins falling apart, Roxas turns to his friends as the only place he can go. Whenever something goes wrong, he just yells,
Rainer! Pence! Olette!
This once again shows how Roxas defines himself based on his friends, how he thinks of them when things go awry, and that they're what's important to him.
You see, light is made up of lots of colors, and out of all those colors, red is the one that travels the farthest.
Axel showcases the lengths we're willing to go for our friends. He is incredibly loyal to Roxas and Shion, and as he realizes that their time together may be coming to an end, he does everything he can to keep them from drifting apart. He doesn't tell them what he knows is coming, and when Shion leaves, he does everything he can to track her down, just to keep them all together. After Roxas leaves the organization, Axel goes to even greater lengths. He tries to do the same thing at first, attempting to convince him to come back. When that doesn't work, and Roxas becomes a part of Sora again, Axel spends nearly the whole of KH2 trying to turn Sora into a Heartless. He takes extreme measures like betraying the organization and kidnapping Kairi, compromising his own morals and values, all just because he wants his buddy back. This eventually ends in his death and acceptance that he wasn't going to see Roxas again. Axel's actions also show the effects of a friend group breaking apart. He had experienced the same thing before with Isa, and his later desperation is likely a result of that. Also resulting from that is Saïx's jealousy over Axel's new friends in Roxas and Shion. The two's friendship falling apart led to negative traits seen in both of them. This same idea of a friendship falling apart is at the core of Birth by Sleep. Terra, Aqua, and Vin all react in different ways. Terra, in leaving, feels he has to prove himself to live up to his friends, and in doing so sets the events of the story into motion. Ventus, the youngest, attached to the only people he's ever known, chases him because he wants him to come back, and he's so distraught at the thought of them breaking apart. Aqua then feels responsible for her friends, and that it's her duty to keep them safe, on the right track, and together. Ultimately, this series of events ends up devastating the group, and they all end up in a tragic ending, separated from each other. After falling apart, Aqua, the only one really left, is obsessed over trying to save her friends and bring them back together, and that ultimately ends up being her downfall. The Wayfinder and Twilight Trios both display how a friendship can break apart, and how a breaking apart affects us as people, how we can obsess over trying to keep it together, and the consequences that obsession can have on us.
We may never meet again, but we'll never forget each other.
Friends never forget each other. This is something the series is very direct about. However, Shion was forgotten. After her death, all the memories of her just went away. Her closest friends, Roxas and Axel, forgot who she was. Yet, they never truly forget her. The two have glimpses of her leading up to KH3, and when she does return, all it takes is one look at her face for Axel to remember who she is. Whenever Sora meets an old Disney party member, or when he sees everyone from Hollow Bastion again, it never takes long for them to be right back where they were the last time they saw each other. A quick hey, and it's like the year or maybe even more more since they saw each other had never passed in the first place. With this and Shion as well, the series is making the point that friends never truly forget each other. No matter how long it's been or what's happened since you last saw each other, you're still friends and you will always have that bond. Kingdom Hearts may not discuss all of the aspects of friendship, and it may not have any new revelations to add to the topic, but what it does touch on, the series packs together in one emotionally compelling story. These games have such emotional highs that it makes sense that the themes are easy to miss. The feelings these moments give off are far more potent than any messages it may be trying to give. Yet, these messages and feelings do go hand in hand. It was heart-wrenching to see the tragedies in Days and Birth by Sleep, and that's because we've all experienced being separated from old friends we may never see again. It feels great to see Riku succeed and Sora have happy times in Disneyland because of what those moments say about us as people, that our friends are good for us. In KH3, when we see characters reunite or the villains finally realize friendship, it feels great because it's capping off their respective thematic arcs and rounding out the messages that they tell. This emotional catharsis is what I feel the series is really about, and that wouldn't be possible without the themes it contains. Hi, thank you for watching, and again, another really big thanks to the March Caprice team. I appreciate the platform to get my stuff out there. I'm BR Tinchi. I make videos about typically game design, but sometimes some more narrative-focused content, like this one. I normally use my outros to reflect on the making of the video. I'll keep it somewhat short, since this is for an event, but yeah, this video was really hard to make it come together at just every stage of the process, and I really hope that didn't come through in the quality, but I'm sure it did. I'm still mostly new to making videos. But even so, you know, even though I'm not too confident in the quality of this one, I hope you have found some enjoyment from it. If you liked it, or you want to see more of what I can make, please subscribe, stick around. I appreciate it. Knowing someone wants to see what I can make is the greatest motivator for actually making it. So yeah, again, thank you for watching. Bye.